Yo, what's going on, man? Today is September the 24th, and we're going to preview the Indiana Fever versus the Connecticut Sun game 2 of the WNBA playoffs. Let's jump into it. Let's just jump right into it. We had a pretty good day on Sunday. Courtney Vandersloot to go under her assist. Same thing with Jordan Canada. Same thing with Caitlin Clark in this game that we're going to talk about today. And Brittany Griner under her 15.5 points. Seattle team total goes under as well. Atlanta, if they get the cover, man, we win pretty. Man, I thought they was going to get the cover. Late into a cover by Haley Jones. She misses the layup. They end up losing the game by 14 instead of 12. But that's what kept us from a perfect 6-0 day. We'll take the profit and move on, though. Let's jump into the one game that I want to get into for this video specifically. So Indiana Fever, they will still be in Connecticut. The way the WNBA playoffs are set up, for people who don't know, is that it's the best of 3 series. So whoever wins 2 games first wins, and the road team is at a really bad disadvantage because the only way you get a home game is if you end up winning the game on the road. So they would have to beat the Connecticut Sun, who are favored by 6 points. Total still sitting the same at 163.5 currently. They will have to beat the Connecticut Sun in order to host a playoff game. So let's get into the matchup, man. Already talked about the Fever on the brink of elimination. Same thing. Well, opposite for the Connecticut Sun. They win, and they end up playing the winner of the Minnesota Lynx and the Phoenix Mercury series. So right now, of course, the Lynx are up 1-0. They didn't cover that game, but they also play tomorrow, which will be the same day that this video is released. So jumping straight into what happened on Sunday. That game was not a real indicator of what I think is going to happen in this one. And just to be, transparent, I saw this line actually open at 8, and it's been bet back down to, the Phoenix minus the 5, minus the 5.5. This graphic says 6. I think the current line is 6 right now, but the total is still the same. So definitely, kind of shop around if you're depending on what side you like. The first thing that really jumped out to me in the last game was the pace of play. We know that the Indiana Fever want to run one pace, and that's really, really fast. They want to get up and down the floor. They were upset that the clock kept malfunctioning. I think it was a clock malfunction maybe 3 times in that game. And that kept them, away from when they actually did get stops, because they did give up, 90 plus points to this Connecticut Sun team that really is not the greatest scoring team, but that kept them from being able to push during that time. I think it's pretty simple, though. If the Fever are going to shoot 21% from the 3-point line, they don't stand a chance. Not in this series, because they don't really play a lot of defense. Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin Clark, and Lexi Hall combined to go 4 for 25 from the 3-point line. That's never going to get the job done. That's less than the 21%. Connecticut took care of all of the small things. They were +2 in offensive rebounding, offensive rating of a 119. They also had 19 points, 18 points, I think, off turnovers. And they dominated the paint, 50-36 in points in the paint. Indiana Fever are going to have to switch a lot of that if they going to be competitive in this game. I am expecting some regression from Connecticut offensively, though. And it's difficult to say because you look at the Fever's defense, and it's been pretty bad. Asking them to come on the road and get a stop is not something that you typically want to put your money on. So I will say, I'm not expecting Connecticut to shoot 9 for 18 from the 3-point line. Now, that's a little bit. Marina Mabry got hot. Dewana Bonner hit a couple difficult ones as well. I think we do see some regression there. They shot just 33% from the 3-point line on the season, and they averaged 40 points in the paint. They scored 50 in this game, which is why you see them, go way up and over their team total at 93. But the game total still went under, and that was because their defense held true. We know that the Indiana Fever are the Connecticut Sun are a really good defensive team, and they locked up the Indiana Fever yet again. Connecticut, trend-wise, 2-0 to the under when they're playing the same team that they previously played. So those games have gone under. It's difficult to want to take an under, though. You just watch how Indiana plays so fast, and they shoot a ton of threes. So I put at the bottom left corner, you guys can see Road Dogs in a series game 2 that's coming off a loss of 16 points or more. They typically don't show up in game 2 either. 1-9 straight up, 2-8 against the number. Average line about 10 points is what they're getting, and they're losing by an average of 16 points per game. I think this game is going to be a little bit more competitive if the Connecticut Sun, don't shoot as well, and the Indiana Fever can actually get some of those 3-point attempts, because some of those looks that Caitlin Clark got and Kelsey Mitchell got were really good looks. I think, my opinion on the right side, Alyssa Thomas, she did say post-game that job's not done. They've lost game twos in back-to-back seasons. They were dogs in both of those games, but they've lost, back-to-back games. I think you see a really motivated team here. They did lose Ty Harris. She was in a walking boot in the fourth quarter. She's not going to be available after coming down on her, I think it was her knee, might have been her ankle, but it's a lower leg injury for Ty Harris that will probably just lead to more minutes for somebody like Veronica Burton off the bench. And Marina Mabry also probably going, I'm not sure if they're going to slide her into the starting lineup, but she's probably going to play a little bit more as well. I said this already. I don't trust Connecticut to score, offensively like they did, but Indiana has given up 90 points in 3 consecutive games as a road dog. Those were the 3 games that they've been dogs since the Olympic break, and they haven't been able to stop anybody. So what do I think is going to happen in this one? I actually like, because it's really difficult for me to pick. I do kind of lean towards the Connecticut Sun to be able to get the job done. I think the Fever, if you like the Fever, you like 3-point variance, and you need them to be able to make some shots if you like them to win this game, or to keep it within the number, because defensively they've been really, really bad. If their threes are going in, it's definitely going to be an over game. And if you like them to cover, I think it's going to be an over game. If you like the Connecticut Sun, it's a couple of different things that could happen. They could play really good defense and win the game, or they could just have another offensive explosion against a Fever team that's not really guarding anybody. So what I like in this game, and I didn't talk about this, but I'll go over it right now. NaLyssa Smith, under her 13.5 points plus rebounds. Line is currently available on Bet365 and FanDuel if you guys have access. Kind of combining the two. If I had to guess, I think I would probably go under on her. I think both lines are actually really good, honestly. I wouldn't even try to pick the one that I like the most. Let me tell you what stands out the most about NaLyssa Smith. And this is an official play. I locked it in already. NaLyssa she finished the game 0 for 1 from the field with 1 rebound and 0 points. So we think some regression is probably going to come. I don't think so. She played just 8 minutes and 53 seconds in totality. 2 minutes and 53 seconds in the third quarter, did not touch the floor in the fourth quarter. I think a lot of the reasons she didn't play in the fourth quarter or in the second half in general, and just with her minutes being below 10, is because it wasn't like she was in foul trouble. She only had 1 foul, but it's because Dantas and Timmy Fong Bagley, they took her minutes and they both played pretty well, specifically Dantas. She has a lot of playoff experience, and this is a very young Indiana Fever team. So I think that's why Coach Christy Sykes had her on the floor so much. She was actually the best 3-point shooter. She finished the game with 12 points, 4 for 7 shooting, and 2 for 3 from the 3-point line. She was the only player on their team that actually made a few threes and shot above 50% from the 3-point line. For perspective, you just look since the Olympic break, the Fever are a -10 in net rating across 297 minutes with NaLyssa Smith on the floor. That's the second. She's the second. She got the second worst plus minus on the team since the Olympic break. And what's crazy is with her off the floor, they are plus 18.2 in 268 minutes with her off the floor. Biggest jump by far, probably in the WNBA. I didn't research, dive that deep, but I'll trust the numbers here. I think NaLyssa Smith does not play. And if she doesn't play, I think she definitely goes under. You also just look at how she scores. It's typically in the paint, and this is a big front line for the Connecticut Sun. So I don't think that she's going to be able to score as efficiently as she typically does. Her box scores with the minutes say that she typically, goes up and over this line, but I don't think the minutes will be there because I think Dantas played her way into earning more minutes. And then you also got Timmy Fong Bagley. So yeah, Connecticut, best defensive team in the WNBA. I don't think they give up a lot of points in the paint here, which is typically where NaLyssa Smith does a lot of her damage. And then there's Bree Jones, under 13.5 points. This was one I felt kind of doing some deep diving as well. The Indiana Fever's weakness is on the defensively. It comes from the 3-point line. Hence, Connecticut shot 50% from the 3-point line, and Marina Mabry had a really big game in their last game. Not to say that Connecticut isn't due for some regression from making those 9 of their 18 3-pointers in the last game. But Indiana, has been a bottom 3 defensive team all season. I just don't think this is the matchup for Brianna Jones to go crazy. She hasn't had much success against Indiana all season. In the first matchup that they played earlier, that was the first game of the season, she finished with just 8 points. She had 11 in the second matchup, only 2 points in the third matchup. And then in the playoff game on Sunday, she finished with 4 points on 2 for 7 shooting. So she's under in all 4 matchups. And I think a big part of that is, like I said, it's just not a big Bree Jones matchup advantage here. Aaliyah Boston's a pretty good defender. You got Timmy Fong-Bagley, Dantas. I think those are pretty good defenders as well. In the Fever, you look at them, they've actually held teams to the 3rd lowest restricted area field goal percentage over the season, shooting just 59% are their opponents from inside the restricted area, right around the rim, which is where Bree Jones likes to attack. Also holding opponents to the 5th fewest makes and 5th fewest attempts, so they're not giving up a lot of shots there. The Fever also finished the season allowing just the 4th fewest points in the paint, which in this area for Bree Jones, that's where she likes to take and make a lot of her shots. So Bree Jones will be an official play for me. I just haven't locked it in yet. Under 13.5 points. Melissa Smith under 13.5 points plus rebounds. Like I said, I don't think she's going to play big minutes in this spot. And even if she does, it's still a difficult task to get that against the Connecticut Sun front line. And then I like Connecticut. Like I said, I haven't bet it yet, but I was going back and forth, trying to figure out over, under, take the points, later points, take the dog. And I think Connecticut minus the 6 is what I lean to a little bit more than anything else, just because, like I said, I do think that the Indiana Fever, I just haven't seen them play good defense at all on the road. They're 0-3 against the number, straight up and against the number when they played in Connecticut this season, and none of them have been close. So yeah, if you think that the 3-point variance is going to swing back their way and they're going to make, more than 21% of their threes, then yeah, I think they got a chance. But Connecticut's also been a top 2 defensive team against the 3-point shot all season. So I do think it's going to be difficult for them to score the basketball. I do lean Connecticut minus the 6, but have not made that an official play. Have not played it yet either. Resources always listed here for you guys. If you're interested in signing up for OddsJam, definitely use the 20% off promo code CBC. Get you 20% off your first month, so you can have access to a lot of different sports betting tools over there. But I specifically use the Sportsbook screen page. It's my favorite, probably sports betting tool in general. And then Moneyballer as well, 50% off. They're still giving a hell of a discount over there. Use code ChrisBeCappinn 2 P's 2 N's for all your, time-saving needs, because Moneyballer makes it really, really easy to find specific stats and trends. And that's what I like in this one, man. Like I said, top play on the board. I'll take Melissa Smith under her 13.5 points plus rebounds. I'm also going to play Bree Jones under her 13.5 points. There's a 14.5 floating around on a couple books. A lot of juice, minus 130, south of minus 130. But it's what I'm liking for this game specifically. 2 official plays and 1 lean. I have not played Melissa Smith. I haven't not played Bree Jones yet, but that will be an official play. I'll take her under her 13.5 points as well. If you enjoyed the show, man, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on so you know when I go live, share the video as well. Link for all my official plays when I do make them is posted in the description of this video, as it always is. Best of luck on all your action. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.